Hello everyone, welcome aboard. So again, we have brought you the next session of the daily current affairs from Himalaya IAS. And today we will be discussing about 30th September's current affairs. So let's get started. The first topic today is about toxic material in firecrackers. I hope all of you can see it. I have zoomed it a bit. So we have covered this news earlier as well. This is a part of EVS, environmental science. The static portion of it you will be reading in your classroom. In that there is a chapter called pollution. Okay, and in the main syllabus this is part of GS paper 3. Okay, so all of you are aware that some of the pollutants which are present in the firecrackers, they are antimony, lithium, mercury, arsenic, and lead. Please do remember that. Apart from that, there is something called barium nitrate, which causes a lot of concern. So SC has banned the use of these materials in the production of firecrackers. How UPSC asks questions about it, they will ask you which of these are found in the firecrackers or which of these are pollutant. So that's where you have to remember this list. Okay. Now, moving to the next lesson from China on the gig workers. So gig economy is something which is based on app-based workers. You know, you have like drivers of Ola, Uber, the delivery person of Swiggy, anybody who is getting their job from the apps. Okay, so they are not formal sector workers. They do not get social security benefits like insurance or provident fund. Okay, so they have to be recognized as unorganized sector workers, and they will be facing similar problems, right? That we should have a scheme for pension, for their insurance. Okay, also during this COVID-19 pandemic, these have emerged as frontline workers. A lot of supplies, when there was lockdown, it was only on the basis of these delivery guys that we were getting it. So that's why there is a need that we must do something to improve their livelihood. See, all of their jobs are regulated through apps are not human. Okay, so based on any algorithm, they are continuously being assigned orders and orders and orders. They have to work till like late hours, and they have very poor benefit for it. So there has China has already done it, so we must also do something for the workers in the gig economy. Do remember this term. UPSC sometimes will simply ask you, like, recently seen in news, gig economy refers to what, right? Moving to the next, army to get 25 advanced light helicopters. Okay, this amount is not that important. Okay, but army is getting these helicopters. That you must remember, advanced light helicopters, they'll be manufactured by HAL. Okay, and see, the apex body to take any call when it comes to the acquisition or procurement in the defense sector, it is taken up by DAC, Defense Acquisition Council. Okay, so do remember this also. See, here is a broad thing why you must pay attention to these small things. India has a lot of spending which is happening on the defense sector. So we have to import. You have seen, we have bought Rafale, we have taken a nuclear submarine from Russia. Okay, now again, the transport carriers, we are buying it from Airbus. So that's why there is a need to develop indigenous manufacturing. Okay, so that is why HAL has to be developed in procurement of the, in one of the last lecture I have covered, in procurement of the transport aircraft, transport aircrafts. We have also utilized Tata, one of the Tata subsidiary companies, which will be involved in the production. So all these efforts, if you see, they are basically aimed at removing our dependence on our import. It will reduce our bill. If we can build it, then we can also sell it to others. If we can sell it, we, instead of spending money which could have been utilized on health or education, we can earn money. Okay, which again we can use for social sectors like health and education. Let me just clear this. Moving to the next, 24 lakh pre-primary students to get meals. So this is another schemes related to health and education. They are part of schemes related to health and education. This is part of GS paper 2. Okay, and here 26 old, there is a national midday meal scheme which covers the school classes from 1 to 8. Now same scheme has been renamed and extended to pre-primary students from this year. Okay, as part of national education policy, now we will be considering even pre-primary education in the educational efforts. So that's the objective, or that was one point of national education policy. And as part of that, we will be even providing nutritional security to the students in the pre-primary classes. So there is a Poshan Abhiyan for nutritional security that is different. This is PM Poshan Mission. Okay, that is for providing something like midday meal to the pre-primary students. Please do remember this. Moving next, high levels of maternal child and child under nutrition continue to plague India. Basically, this issue is about the malnutrition. So COVID-19 has already increased the risk of malnutrition. In India, already there is a high level of maternal and child malnutrition. Malnutrition is lack of nutrition. Okay. So, for example, to give you some stats, 1/3 of our under 5 children, they are stunted. Stunted means their height is less in proportion of their age. 1/3 of them are underweight, means their weight is less in proportion of their age or height. That is called wasting. So stunting and wasting itself is a problem. Mothers or the females in India, they basically suffer hugely from this problem. So there are a lot of government programs, but COVID has actually disrupted those programs. First, like the price rose, so all the people who are living below poverty line, problems of food security arose. Then the service delivery system, which was made for providing nutritional security, that got disrupted. For example, schools providing midday meal, Anganwadi centers, they were providing folic acid or iron tablets to the women, that were closed during this lockdown. Then hospitals and medical facilities, which in usual case cater to the needs of these people, they were also totally involved in the COVID challenges, right? So that is why in the past 2 years, this problem of nutritional security has increased. So what can be done? Immediate attention at the national, state, as well as district level. See, these are the three levels of the government. Then uninterrupted and universal nutritional service. And for that, adequate funds have to be allocated to the nutritional program like National Nutrition Mission or Poshan Abhiyan. PM Poshan scheme, which I told you earlier, that is part of providing midday meal to the pre-primary student, and this is for securing the nutritional security of women and children. This is an old scheme which is being implemented by Niti Aayog. Okay. Also, we must monitor the nutrition as the key indicator, not development, key indicator of the development in India. Moving to the next, Foreign Secretary's visit to Colombo. So basically, there were two news items. One is this, and another one is this: Adani Group to firm up Colombo port deal today. So this is about India and Sri Lanka. So let's take a look at both of them. So see, in Sri Lanka, there is an ethnic community of Tamilians which live in that area, and there have been ethnic violence in the past. You would have heard about Litte or liberation of Tamil tigers. You would have heard about the murder of one of the former Indian Prime Minister. So there has been tensions, and India has always demanded fair and just resolution of the remaining issues. They have already started working on that. And the India-Sri Lanka, because we are neighbors, our relation should not be just focused on this single ethnic violence issue. There is a lot which both parties can earn. Mutually they can benefit each other. We are neighbors, and the good relation between neighbors is necessary, okay, in today's world. So as of now, there is another concern was that the pace or speed of India-backed projects in Sri Lanka, the developmental projects have been slow. One of such project is, now let's take a look at another related news item, was West Container Project. So basically it's in Colombo. Okay, it's a strategic deal, not just for India, for Sri Lanka, for the whole Indo-Pacific region. So earlier, what happened? India and Japan were trying to develop East Container Project, same place in Colombo, but they were rejected by the Sri Lankan government. China took over that project. Now, this increased the tension between the two countries because, removing India and giving preference to China in the backyard of India, this can be a problem. Nobody will like it, right? So that is why now this is a symptom of improved relationship that India or India's Adani Group, they have got the West Container Project in the Colombo Port development. So that's why it is important for us to remember. Again, part of international relations, GS paper 2. Now, next is define exemption from data protection law. So this is a joint parliamentary committee which was formed. The data protection law is being created to secure or ensure the privacy of data which will be collected from the citizens, right? The Supreme Court has pronounced the right to privacy as a fundamental right in Article 21. This you will be reading in your polity classes. Article 21 is fundamental rights, which says right to life and personal liberty. This right to privacy is considered as subsumed under this right. Now, the data protection law, which we have as of now, it says that in the name of sovereignty, friendly relations with states, and security of the state, if any union government agency uses the data, it will be exempted from the provisions of this law. That's where the Joint Parliamentary Committee has said that it is problematic. This is very vague actually, that for what purpose you exactly will be giving the exemption for using the private data of the citizens. It has to be clearly stipulated in the law itself. Okay, so this is a part of polity. Next article is about India, Australia signing terms of reference for Navy to Navy talks. So we know India, Australia, they are part of Quad as well. Australia is in news because it has formed another alliance called AUKUS, which we have discussed in our earlier lectures. The term of reference has been issued for Navy to Navy talks, means on what conditions they will be talking. So there will be a clearly established protocol that for this purpose they can talk without going through the formal channel. So this, improves the shared commitment for both the countries when their navies have to coordinate their activities for promoting peace, security, and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. There are other organizations as well to whom they can connect with, like Indian Ocean Naval Symposium, Western Pacific Naval Symposium, and Indian Ocean Rim Association. This have been asked in UPSC prelims examination earlier as well. So let's take a look at them one by one. So IONS, it is a maritime cooperation and regional security organization. It includes 24 member nations that touch or lie within Indian Ocean region. It also has 8 observer nations. Members have been geographically grouped into 4 sub-regions like South Asian littorals. So definitely India is a part of it. West Asian littorals, Iran, Oman, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. East African littorals, France, because it has presence in Reunion Island. France is the latest member of this. Kenya, Mauritius, Mozambique, South Africa, and Tanzania. Southeast Asian, Australian littorals. Okay. Another organization is Indian Ocean Rim Association. Earlier, it has been asked in prelims as well. So it was previously named as Indian Ocean Rim Initiative. Okay. IOR ARC for short. It's a regional tripartite forum that gathers government representative, academia, and business leaders for encouraging cooperation and greater interaction between them. It is funded upon open regionalism for boosting economic cooperation. Currently, it has 23 members. This idea was initiated by India and South Africa. So India is member of both IORA plus IONS. Okay, it's not a member of WPNS, but now we'll be having access to them as well. So these were the current affairs of today, guys. Hope you have liked the session. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. And we will be back with the similar lecture of current affairs of next day soon. So thanks a lot for watching. Thank you.